Hello everyone, we got another CM's model. It's the Ford Sierra Cosworth 4x4 from the 1992 Monte Carlo Rally. Let's see here. No packaging, just came off this base here. So I guess the Sierra is considered a mid-size or a large-size family car depending on what country you're in. It originally was available between 1982 and onwards, but it was also known as the Mercure XR4 Ti, at least in the US, but I think it was more the coupe version, not the sedan version. Many engine choices in the road-going vehicles, 1.3 liters, inline fours, all the way up to a 5-liter V8 in South Africa. Sorry, there we go. Okay. So in 1990, the third generation came out, and it four-wheel drive was available, wider body shell, steering-mounted gear shift paddles, and that's what this rally car, I believe, is based off of. Later on, it was replaced by the Mondeo, and I guess the Sierra RS Cosworth, the more popular Sierra, was replaced by the Escort RS Cosworth. Okay. Alright, it's not the same exact car, but it looks similar, at least in the body, not the graphics or the wheels. Those are different. Okay, so let's see. It wasn't a really successful vehicle, unfortunately. This was raced by Francois Delacour, and he came in 4th place at that race. The Monte Carlo race, that is. But simply wasn't able to compete with the Lancia Delta or the Toyota Celica of the day. So this car never actually won a WRC race. It competed, but never really won. Okay, so that's all I learned about it. So let's take a look here. I'm coming to realize CMs, I think, painted a lot of their wheels. So this is probably white paint that's been yellowed now. So I don't think it's actually molded in this color. See, yeah, you can see here, I think it's black originally, so they painted it white. So I guess I could always repaint them, if I'll just leave it as it is for now. Okay, but all the graphics are, tampo prints, so that's nice. They look pretty good. Unfortunately, being a white diecast, the body panel gaps are almost gone. The paint filled in the door gaps so much. So only in certain angles you can see a door panel gap. Okay. The tires, they just have these little ribs here. I put my own label on here so I know it's from 92. I don't display them on the stands. Okay. The door handle sticks out and it's got a little recess below it. Going around to the front here, we got some clear lenses and then they painted on top of them. This little orange thing, I don't know if it's just a dead light or what. Obviously that's a functional headlight, and the turn signals are probably right there. There's a recess with some black paint right there. Okay, the Ford badge. Let's see if we can get in on that. Well, it's legible, I guess. It looks like the Ford script. This license plate is going to be accurate. CM's puts accurate license plates on their vehicles here. The vents here are just graphic, though. They're not molded in at all. And then you have these raised hood pin latches molded in. Yeah, the printing looks good. Interesting wiper blades. I don't know if that's accurate or not. I don't think it is, but I could be mistaken. But it's like, oh, wait a sec, what's going on? Yeah, they made a mistake. You see this recess? So there's an arm going here, right? So that's how, that looks normal. There should be an arm going here, but they put it here. So this arm should be here. So these two things should be identical, but they screwed up. It's really strange. I mean, they didn't screw up in the metal casting, but they screwed up in the plastic mold. Huh, very odd. Okay, some black paint on the casting for the rubber molding around the windshield. And it looks like there's black paint around the side windows as well for the molding. A cast-in mirror. Oh yeah, see? Yeah, the paint is chipping off. So, I might have to strip this and repaint them one day. Alright, this wing here. seems okay. It's not super thick plastic. And then the taillights, they're translucent, so that looks pretty good. It looks accurate to the photograph. Little tiny exhaust tip there. Alright. And then, yeah, boy, so much reflection in that glass, but there's a spare wheel inside there. You can see it. And then this silver roll cage is actually not so bad. It's one of the better ones I've seen from this brand because it's very high up. It's pushed up against the plastic on the roof. You know, the window glass. So that's good. It's higher than the seat backs, so it looks pretty realistic. But let's get a flashlight here and see what else is maybe in here. There's that spare tire in the back. Just molded in, I think, and painted white. It's not the same wheel as on the outside of the car because the spoke holes are blanked off. But there's some harnesses there in the seats, right? And they got yellow and black, probably means say-belt or something. So those are good. Nice detail there. Nothing on the dashboard, no color that is, but you know, molded details, looks pretty good. So all in all, I think it's a pretty good model. Yeah, yep. Paint rash right there in the black. So unfortunately, it's the wheels and the paint rash. Those are the paint problems going on. Oh well. Anyways, it's interesting. You know, I'm used to seeing images of the Sierra RS. You know, the one that looks more like a coupe instead of a sedan. And I think Mini GT is coming out with one. Or is it Inno64? It could be Inno, I forget. It's one of those brands. So I'm hoping they do a lot of race liveries. But I decided to get this one because it's a totally different appearance than that newer model that's going to come out later this year, I guess. Alright, let's take a look at some other diecasts that might be similar to this. Let me get the solar spinner out here. Well, actually this one isn't solar, it's just battery powered. And it's spinning a little too fast. Well, I guess that'll have to do. So, I got a couple other Fords. This is a 1997 Escort RS. Alright. And then later on in 2005 we have a Ford Focus rally car. So let's just take a look at the footprints here. Can definitely see the evolution to this, at least in the headlights. But you know, this is a two-door, whereas this is actually a four-door. So it's definitely changed. Okay, let's get these guys out of here. So let's show a couple of the cars I was competing against. The Lancia Delta. This is from 1991, so it's a year before. I believe this one actually may have won a WRC championship that year. I could be mistaken though. I gotta make some room here because this one has an antenna. This is a Pop Race Celica. And this thing I think won 2 years of the manufacturer's championship for the WRC. So yeah, Ford was just losing out to Lancia and Toyota in a bunch of these races, so I think they ultimately scrapped the Sierra and then moved on to the Escort. Alright, but since this video is about the Sierra, okay, as usual, I do like CM's models. If you like rally cars, I suggest you get on eBay and look them up. They're really interesting subjects. You know, I've never actually, before I got this model, I didn't even know a four-door Sierra actually existed, like a four-door sedan. It's only through collecting these diecast cars that I discover a lot of vehicles. You know, I never lived in the UK or anything like that, so I never saw this thing. Alright guys, well, I appreciate you watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys the next time I do a CM's review. So here's a little update. I went and repainted the wheels. Just want to throw out a couple tips here. So I took the tires off first, and then I made this little tool. This is actually for like an airbrush. It's meant to take the nozzle off an airbrush, but you could take any thin piece of metal, like a cheap fork or whatever thin piece of metal, and just cut a groove into it. A groove wide enough to fit over an axle. So then I just jammed this in there and then I pushed it out, right? So that's how I got the wheel off without having to drill this thing apart. So after I took it apart, I put the wheels into some isopropyl alcohol, IPA, and just let it sit there for a while. And then I took a toothbrush and I put it back in there and got all the white paint off, or it was yellow paint, right? And then I just resprayed it with some acrylic-based white paint through my airbrush. So it looks a whole lot better now. In fact, this white is actually brighter than the car itself now. So maybe the car is yellowed from UV exposure. So anyways, just thought I'd throw it out there. Just some IPA will strip the paint off these wheels from CMs without damaging the plastic. Okay.